In 1968, while a student at the University of Pennsylvania, Kuromiya organized a protest against the university's research into napalm, a chemical weapon used in the Vietnam War. He distributed flyers announcing that a dog would be burned alive with napalm in front of the campus library to demonstrate the chemical's effects. When a massive crowd of thousands of people, including police, news media, and angry onlookers, gathered to stop the event, Kuromiya did not bring out a dog. Instead, he burned a piece of paper that read, "Congratulations on your anti-napalm protest. You have saved the life of a dog. Now, how about the thousands of people being burned in Vietnam?" This event is considered a masterpiece of media manipulation and political theater, used to highlight what Kuromiya saw as a hypocrisy: the public's immediate outrage over a single animal's potential suffering compared to their relative indifference toward the thousands of humans being killed by napalm in Vietnam. In the 1980s, the AIDS crisis was a death sentence shrouded in silence and misinformation. Kiyoshi Kuromiya saw that doctors and the government often held life-saving research that never reached the people dying in the streets. He realized that for marginalized communities, access to information wasn't just a luxury, it was the only way to stay alive. Kuromiya decided to bypass these gatekeepers by founding the Critical Path Project. He used his scientific mind to translate complex medical journals into an easy-to-read newsletter and launched one of the first Internet Bulletin Board systems, BBS. This digital lifeline allowed patients across the globe to share treatment data and support one another at a time when the world was largely indifferent. By turning the early internet into a tool for medical resistance, Kuromiya democratized healthcare. He proved that a small group of informed activists could challenge the medical establishment and save lives. His legacy remains a blueprint for how technology and grassroots organizing can be used to dismantle barriers to survival. Kiyoshi Kuromiya's journey as an activist began behind barbed wire at the Heart Mountain internment camp during World War II. Born into a country that saw his heritage as a threat, he understood the sting of systemic injustice before he could even walk. This early trauma did not make him bitter. It made him a revolutionary who saw the common threads of all forms of oppression. Years later, he brought that fire to the Black civil rights movement, standing as a rare Asian American voice alongside giants. He became a close assistant to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and marched from Selma to Montgomery, facing down the same hatred he had witnessed in the camps. He famously helped protect Dr. King during times of danger, embodying a fierce spirit of solidarity. This story is a lesson in intersectional activism. Kuromiya taught that the liberation of one group is inextricably tied to the liberation of all. By bridging his Japanese-American heritage with the Black struggle for equality, he showed that solidarity is the most powerful weapon against state-sponsored injustice. As the 1990s dawned, the internet was a wild, unregulated frontier that Kuromiya saw as a sanctuary for the voiceless. However, the government soon moved to stifle this freedom with the Communications Decency Act, threatening to censor the very platforms used to share life-saving health information. Kuromiya knew that if the state could control the web, the most vulnerable would lose their loudest microphone. He took the fight all the way to the highest court in the land as the lead plaintiff in the landmark case ACLU v. Reno. He argued that the internet was a unique medium that deserved the highest level of First Amendment protection. He wasn't just fighting for abstract principles. He was fighting for the right of a sick person to find a doctor or a treatment online without fear of government interference. The Supreme Court ultimately agreed, striking down the law and establishing the internet as a protected space for free speech. Kuromiya's victory ensured that the digital world remained an open frontier for information and advocacy. His foresight protected the digital rights we often take for granted today, proving that the battle for the mind is fought on every new horizon.